Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, I wanted to go over specific ways you can connect with an avoidant in a relationship, and we're going to talk about the benefits of this as well. But I want to break it up into about 7 points, and then we're going to summarize it. But each of these points, we're going to talk about kind of what it looks like or examples of it, just small versions of it to kind of help you know how to translate this into your relationship. And the first one is to thank them specifically about something. And so I'm going to give an example to illustrate it. Let's just say your significant other struggles with anger or like moodiness, and maybe they were in a pretty bad mood, but they tried to manage it and they still communicated pretty clearly with you, and that's something new for them. Thanking them specifically, I really appreciated how you handled that. I appreciate how much effort you put into managing yourself so that we can have a satisfying and happy relationship. I feel happy, and if there's anything that you need from me, let me know, but I just wanted to let you know I appreciate that. Something that's really specific, because avoidance, they feel like it means that you notice their efforts. Actually, I just thought of an example that maybe can help you guys kind of translate it. I've noticed a lot of anxious, preoccupied individuals like compliments that are very specific. And so it's kind of the same thing. You guys would like a compliment like, you look really beautiful in that dress, or you're such a good guy, you make me, feel amazing, whatever it is, like something really complimentary. You're the greatest boyfriend I've ever had, something like that. But avoidance like that specific type of thing with their efforts. So it might be like, even if in a compliment fashion, it might be like, I really appreciate how much effort you put into putting your outfit together. I really appreciate how you handled that argument. I really appreciate how much of a, committed partner you are. That's kind of the best way to angle it. So it's a very similar spot for avoidant and anxious. It just angled a little bit differently. The next one is you want to actually appreciate efforts, not just results. And so this one's hard for a lot of people because it can make them anxious to not see results, but it's beneficial. I appreciate how you still show up. Even if you don't always answer the text message, I appreciate that you're still trying. I appreciate that you pick up the phone, even if you're a little bit frustrated, whatever it is. And maybe your goal is that you guys talk more often or you guys connect more often, whatever it may be. But you actually appreciate those efforts. Another example, which is an avoidant who's very, very avoidant, and these relationships are almost like not even full relationships, where it's like the avoidant does not actually see you. They actually avoid seeing you. Like you guys talk on the phone maybe, but you guys barely hang out. It's uncommon, but it does happen, and it's a really stressful situation. And I know some of you guys are in situations like that. And so what you can do with a situation like that is you might say, I appreciate how you're still trying to make effort for us to see each other. And so even though the result hasn't happened yet, they're going to try, hopefully, if they're a good person. And you can say, I appreciate that you still are trying to make effort to see me. I'm hopeful, and I can't wait to see you. Something like that to show I still appreciate your efforts. The next one is don't interrupt them when they share something difficult. It's difficult because maybe you want to interrupt them because you want to say, I'm so sorry that happened, or thank you so much for telling me. But let them first say what they need to say. Let them first process. Let them first get it out of the way. And then you can say, thank you for telling me that. Thank you for sharing. It means a lot to me that you trust me. But let them process it out loud. And the reason why it's important is because you interrupting them, like I had mentioned, it might not be an offensive reason, but sometimes avoidance, it's almost like they lose track of what they're saying. And so you might not get what they're trying to say. And that vulnerable connection is really imperative for relationships. And so you want to process that thoroughly so that you guys can have the benefits of that for your relationship. The next one is respond with calm validation. This one makes a really big impact, and it works for pretty much all attachment styles. Just saying that makes sense. Or I hadn't considered it from that angle. I'll mull it over, or I'll consider what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I appreciate you sharing. Anything like that, some validation, because the truth of the matter is, I think there's always some truth to every person's angle. And sometimes we don't always get along with everybody all the time, but it is really important to calmly validate their perspective. The next one is you want to remind them that you believe in them. And this one makes a really big difference, particularly for avoidance. I would say particularly dismissive avoidance, but it doesn't have to be, but I would say maybe a little bit more. Let's talk about commitment so we can kind of put that into this example. Commitment for a lot of people is like getting married, being in a relationship, living together, things like that. But with an avoidant, even being there is a form of commitment. And that's actually true. It is a form of commitment in general, but that's a lot of commitment for them. And so sometimes mentioning that you believe that they're, working on building stronger commitment, or you appreciate and believe that they're a very commitment forward person. And so you reinforce the idea that they are committed because they are. And it helps them to feel even more comfortable committing to you and being more comfortable with the label of a committed person, which allows them to become more committed. When you remind them that you believe in them in those ways, it can really help. But you don't have to do it with their deactivation strategies or their triggers. You could tell them you believe that they're the best person for their job. You believe that they're gonna bake you the best cake on your birthday, whatever it is. It's that you believe in them. And that makes a huge difference because it helps them to bond with you. The next one is you want to learn something new together as a team. An example I brought up before is like something athletic. So you're not always thinking about what you're thinking about or the anxieties of the relationship. Maybe you can go rock climbing. Maybe you can try a new style of doing. The first thing I wanted to think about is like, so in my state or where I'm in, there's like different ways to fry things, ways to barbecue things. And like something common is like for Thanksgiving, I don't know why I thought about this. There's like a fried turkey or like blackened, there's like different versions of things that you can do to make turkey for Thanksgiving. It's not just baked. And so you can do something like a different technique of something. I thought about that because I like cooking. Y'all know that. And so maybe you guys can learn how to fry a turkey together, whatever it is. Like there's like some people in our area where it's like a really big container outside and you like dip it in and fry it and then you take it out. A lot of people do that around here. And so that's something. The next one is random compliments, particularly as we'd mentioned, something that they put effort in. And this can be really beneficial. And when I mean compliments, you're going to angle it in a more romantic and sensual way because it also helps them be more comfortable with the activity in the bedroom. And so if it's a man, you can say something like, or actually, no, it doesn't have to be. It can be either gender. You can mention that you appreciate the effort that they took to, I don't know, maybe they worked out, and you can say that you appreciate, how much effort they're putting into their body. You appreciate how they look. You think that you appreciate what they're doing and you find that attractive. Maybe you want to go on a date and you feel like they're looking nice and that their efforts are really showing. And so it's not necessarily like you look good today, but I notice how much definition your body has been having because you've been working out. I think that's attractive and I'd like if we could go on a date and do X, Y, and Z, whatever it is, however you guys talk to each other. But something of that sort can really help angle these types of romantic ways to connect with an avoidant. So let's summarize. Thank them specifically. Acknowledge efforts. Don't interrupt them when they share something difficult. Respond with calm validation, such as that makes sense. Remind them that you believe in them. Learn something new as a team. Random compliments can really go a long way as well. And for relationships with an avoidant, I know that it can take a while for some of these benefits to show up. It can take sometimes years, but you should see a little bit of progress as you start doing these things. But I would say that it's also important to have some no, because it's not like you're lacking self-reflection. Sometimes it's almost like denial. I don't want you guys to be in a situation where your partner is stringing you along and there's no progress at all. If you genuinely feel like you do these things and there is no progress, have a conversation or reflect where the relationship is really going, because a lot of these things, they do work pretty well over time. And if you really strongly feel like you are doing all of these things and there is no change or there's no difference, your partner might be really slow, they might not be avoidant, or they might not be willing to make the adjustment needed for the relationship regardless of attachment style. So I hope this video was helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I will see you in the next one.